That's right. Empire was the best. Return of the Jedi might be a close second for the themes that are contained in that movie. It was excellent, other than the cutesy Ewok thing. I could have done without that. And the reason I bring that up, because I'm going to start this GRV off, this pistol review off, with a Star Wars collectible review. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It is a Star Wars Legacy Collection Hoth Recon Patrol Battle Pack. I'm not sure if they're still making it. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. And this thing is awesome. So I reviewed inside a gun review, I think it was a DB10, the black probe droid. And this is the one I was referencing to before. So this kind of has the silver splotchy coloration, not nearly as realistic as that other probe droid. Same play value, still will shoot the eye out of your Chihuahua with that missile right there. And no, I'm not taking it out of box because this is a collectible for us personally. There's Han Solo, fully articulated, so it's that generation. Sick. I like his garb there. And that's another reason I liked Empire so much, is the equipment was just sick. The snow speeder is the first time we saw the chicken walkers, the regular walkers, different types of blasters and lasers, B-wing fighter, just really, the A-wing fighter, super cool. There's Chewie in the battle pack. I'm not sure about that sling. That looks like you could tow a car with it. It actually looks like a tow web strap for the snow speeder. But I think the idea behind that, though, is for play value. So the kid can actually sling the gun on Chewie's back. He's fully articulated, too. I like his coloration. Both for Han and Chewie, the coloration's excellent. And I forget the name of this droid. It's not R2-D2. Maybe it's probably on the back. We'll look at the back here in a second. The box in the presentation is excellent. I mean, it looks good. It's got a snow background on it. This is, says to me, I wouldn't take it out of box. This is just a really cool shelf presentation. Droid provides tactical support to Rebel Alliance. Very cool. And that's K3PO protocol droid. I like it when they do this. So you have an explanation of the characters, some good artwork. Although I will say it's just pictures of the actual toys. I like it when there's a really artistic interpretation of things like you see down here. These are other battle packs. Bike Patrol, that's cool. Although I don't remember speeder bikes in freaking Empire. Do you? I remember them in Jedi. Yeah, but you've read this one book, you would know that it's a... Yeah, I'm not that into Star Wars. I watched the original movies. The latest one that came out, by the way, I can't even bring myself to watch it. It seems so bad. Tactical Doodle went and watched it. He gave me a review, and he said he almost walked out because of the themes in there. Some of them were very PC, and he didn't like it. And so I was like, okay, I'm not watching that. Anyways, there you go. Inside a gun review, the Hoth Battle Pack. I'm going to give it a star rating of 5 stars for its overall presentation. Maybe 4.5 because the coloration on the probe droid isn't quite... And then we could have more weathering on this protocol droid right here. There you go, done. Yeah, we are actually talking about a pistol. We are. And actually, I came out of the desert after shooting this pistol. The next day I got online, I clicked around as I sometimes do to see what others are saying about it. What I came away with is there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of Taurus hate out there online. It is bad. Oh, and by the way, I'm maybe partially responsible for some of that because I haven't been super positive with Taurus in years past. There are reasons for that. Before I started TNP, I had some Taurus handguns and they performed horribly. I got rid of them as fast as I could. That and my interactions with the company about 10 years ago were pretty much all negative. I didn't like the attitudes I saw. So I put them on the back burner, like I've said before. Now I'll get around to some Taurus reviews sometime, but I got a lot better companies and brands to talk about between here and then. And that's exactly the way I've played it. So, a lot of Taurus hate, yes. Have I been fair to the Taurus brand? Well, let's say this. I think I have. Because even though I have that past personally, I still want to, I want to be a fair, objective reviewer, and I like treating people the same way that I would like to be treated, whether it's a company or an individual. And that brings me to my tabletop review of the PT809, finally. So Taurus hate, yes, it's there. Is some of it warranted? Absolutely. There have been breakages. I mean, what was it? The PT809 G2, the freaking trigger broke on me out in the desert, and I talked about that. It was bad, and right after that, they redesigned the trigger and fixed it. Is it all warranted? Now, clicking around the internet, here's what I came away with. Yeah, a lot of hate, a lot of negativity against this pistol in particular, but there is some positivity, and the theme I drew from that is it's from people who actually own the gun. So be careful of the hate you read online or watch in a video. Make sure the guy has experience with the gun, because he might just be dovetailing or jacking into some type of negative groupthink to seem cool. Because online, it's generally cool to make fun of Kel-Tec. It's generally cool to make fun of Taurus, to say that these guns are beneath you as an elite tactical operator. Sound familiar? Yeah, I'm not a tactical elitist. I don't like them. I've never gotten along well with them. These are guys that say they will poo-poo anything that isn't up to their high standards, usually something expensive and form approved. The reason I clicked around online with the PT809 is because the gun shot so well. I should have reviewed it 5 years ago. I'm with you on that, but once again, it was rightfully on the back burner because of what I just said. So there are other guns I want to get to, and with the association of the greatest gun store in America, Gunnies, the great American gun store, link below, loaning me this gun, checking out this gun to me, throwing me a couple boxes of ammo. Thank you, Wyatt at Gunnies. You know, it makes these, I'll call it third tier reviews possible, and throw it out there for your recommendation. The gun's discontinued. Yeah, that's how long I waited. But there are PT809s out there. I know Gunnies has several of them, and the prices are insanely cheap. And let me shortcut it for you. Go and buy one. For the money you're spending on this gun, it's, from what I know, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. Who cares what the internet says? It's your gun. It's your system. Buy accordingly. I'm going to give you a pretty high likability scale on this pistol, the PT809. One thing I'm going to ding it right out of the gate with, and as we talk about first cool, is its weight. It's 30 ounces. I don't think Chewbacca would even carry this thing. It's too freaking heavy, dude. 30 ounces? For a polymer frame pistol? Yeah, that's pretty heavy. But let's go back to some of my other reviews. One of them was on the XD-XDM series, and I criticized that gun, rightfully so, for being a polymer frame pistol, but being heavy. It's about the same weight. And yet I love the XDM. It shoots magically for me, as does this gun. So, you know, because it shoots so well, I'm inclined to give it some latitude. Is it my go-to choice for being a sniper's pistol? Heck no. No, it's going to be something lighter, something a little bit more capable. Oh, where did it go? Had it here somewhere. Well, I don't have the one I wanted, but maybe the Steyr M9A1. I mean, that's lightweight. Now, that's a polymer pistol done right. It's 26 ounces, 25 and a half. Crazy light. So we'll get that out of the way. 30 ounces is heavy. There's other guns that I've liked also, like the XDM, equally as heavy. Yes, philosophy of use, what might be a beater gun. One that you can take anywhere, put into any system, stash gun, truck, cabin, survival kit. If you're willing to take a 30-ounce 9mm pistol with you, I think that would be ill-advised. But maybe you'll do it. Senior's gun, I'm just starting to add that philosophy of use. This might be a good one. I think the slide retracting force on this is reasonable, although loading the magazines is not reasonable. It does include a pretty much worthless loading tool. Use a Maglula instead, if that is a problem for you. Recreational pistol, absolutely. Fun gun to shoot. And the weight helps with that recreational POU, for sure. Also, I went to their website. Yeah, it's discontinued, but their weight was completely right on. They said 30.2 ounces on the Taurus PT809, and that's exactly what it said on my scale as well. So well done on that, Taurus. It's rare I see that. Features review. Barrel is really thick, thicker than some other ones I've brought on table before. I would say that's a good thing. I'd rather have a thicker barrel, although maybe that's contributing to that 30-ounce weight. Not great. This is, I believe, a Tenifer coated slide on this. So it has a nice coating on the PT809. Actually more upscale than you would think. We have forward serrations, worthless. Back serrations are actually perfect on this gun. You know what they remind me of? Sig P226, dude. That's what they remind me of. These serrations are deep. They're squared off. They're not fancified. In other words, they're not trying to be special, different. They're just functional. Love them. The whole profile of the slide is excellent. You have some rounding here on the top. You've got 3-dot Novak metal sights on the top. Pretty amazing for, again, a value pistol formulation when it was out. External extractor. Then we'll go to the trigger guard of the PT809. Pretty good. Now, not the perfect squared off design that I prefer. There's a Walther PPQ, just by way of representation because it's hanging out. It's totally squared off, very Glock-like, but with more room in it. Glock trigger guards are a little bit squished when you're wearing gloves. They are for me, at least. This one is roomier, it's rounded out, and we have a dished out face for your trigger finger. Not your trigger finger, but your offhand finger, which I use. No apologies. And the trigger itself is actually pretty good in the PT809. I'll pull it on camera here if I can find my trigger scale. Here she blows. I actually like the trigger. I am a trigger snob, and I've said that like a bazillion times, but I can run with a trigger that's not totally perfect, and I think you should be able to do so as well. About 7 pounds out of that. That's single action. So that's okay. It's not perfect. The double action is like 15 pounds. It's really bad and crunchy. So the double action is pretty bad. I mean, there's a lot of rubbing. Here's your reset. It's a really short reset on the PT809. Look at that. So I'm not really worried about the double action trigger because it would be so rare for me that I would run it. I'm running it just like this. This is how you're shooting it. So it is a double action to single action transition, of course, which I've always liked. I've never said anything bad about them. And your first shot may or may not be out of double action. We'll get to this part here in a second. Ambidextrous magazine release. Not super digging that. I prefer just one side and reversible. To me, it's just extra width, extra complexity. I've never really wanted it for me. But for other people who are left-handed, like crew member Jardine, he liked it. I mean, this gun is more set up for him as a lefty, so lefties take note of the Taurus PT809. Undercut right here, which is standard. We see that a lot. Polymer frame. I'm glad they ditched that rubber ribber grip. Ribbed for her blank. We'll just leave it at that. That's what I said the original Taurus revolver review that had the ribber grip. This is, you know, just polymer, so it's molded in horizontal grooves, and there is some traction there. I wouldn't say it is amazing. It's pretty slick back here. You do have 3 back straps you can put on. If you're like pretty much 99% of everyone, you'll leave the one on it that it came with. It's just marketing that they provide back straps. Says me. Kind of a tall grip, so if you have small hands, might want to see if it works for you. And that's because it's a 17+1 magazine. Probably made in Brazil as well. High polished blue on it. And it's slick, works good. There's your funneling right here. Polymer base pad. No pinching that I can see. There's a lanyard attachment place at the heel of the grip. Does anyone ever use these, by the way? I remember, like, when I first started TMP, that was the in thing. It was vogue to attach a lanyard to your pistol. That was when Iraq was in full swing, Afghanistan was in full swing, and they saw a lot of guys, operators like in helos and stuff, lanyarding up their pistols, and they thought they had to do the same thing. And I tried it just to see if it was necessary, and it finally dawned on me. It's like, I don't need that. You know, I'm not jumping out of a freaking helicopter. Beaver tails right here. Very Sig-like, actually. So real comfortable hand. You won't get any slide bite unless your hands are just tremendously large. I think I mentioned, but standard 2-slot pick rail here. And then let's go to the takedown real quick. Takedown is just really excellent. Really excellent. So it's, again, Glock-like in takedown. Double captive recoil spring, if I can speak. There's your slide rails. Looks a little bit like a Glock in there to me, just a little bit. You don't have to pull the trigger to take it down if you care. I don't. I've never cared about that. And now we go to what I think are pretty smart and intuitive fire controls. This is your slide stop, slide release. And that's all it does. It's not dual purpose. It's not confusing. It just releases your slide. It's perfect in its shape. See how it sticks out, juts out just the right amount. It is ambidextrous for Jardine, apparently, lefties. So as a righty, I'm kind of like, don't need it, don't like it. But it is relatively trim. Does add some width to the gun. Let me throw my calipers on there. We'll look at the width in inches, I guess, across that span, because that's going to be kind of the thickest part of the gun right there, dudes. Yeah, that's a little bit thick. 1.4 inches wide with those dual controls. You probably could mill one side off. I've done that before and talked about it on camera several times. And then we come to the obviously used decock lever, which I like. Now, it's not forward like the Sig. This is where I prefer the decock, but it is very intelligent in that it decocked down and that it is a safety, but it's really easily ignored. And we don't have a separate safety on this gun. So they do have a safety on it, so it can sell in certain markets that require a safety, but you can just ignore it. So this is, I think, how most people are going to run their PT809. Round in the chamber, hammer down, has 3 safeties in it, totally safe. That's how they're going to run it, I think. You can run it condition 1 if you want. Hey, PT809 owners, do you ever run it like this? Do you ever run it condition 1? I don't know if I'd super recommend that, because this safety is not difficult to swipe off. So let's say you're carrying it inside the waistband. I don't know why you'd carry this gun. It's heavy and wide. I think I made that point clear. But maybe you are. And I'd just be worried, like some 1911s, that I just accidentally sweep that off. Now I've got a hammer back on a live round. That is not optimal. That is bad, dude. But I love the hammer drop. It works great. You'll see me in the shooting video using it, and it's really nice. Easy to ignore the safety on this model. Yep. I think I mentioned the sights already. Metal 3-dot Novaks, and they are pretty excellent. Take a look at this side. Again, external extractor on this if you care. There's your features. How did it shoot? Well, reliability-wise, the PT809 was 100%. Check that. In cold conditions, in snowy conditions, 100%. Now, there were several outings I went on, and my SD card crashed on the snow outing. Yeah, I lost all that footage. It happens. I might take it on another outing for insert footage. If not, you'll have to just use what I got so far. But 100%. Steel case, FMJ, jacketed hollow point. I had no jams at all. Had no breakages. Now, that being said, I'm not chugging like, 2,000 rounds through this thing. I'm not. And that would be a better test, but I don't have the time or the resources to do that. So what I'm giving you is an initial data point, and what I think it will do as time goes on. Getting back to what I heard guys who actually own the gun say, it has been great for them. They remarked that it's totally reliable, no breakages, and they love it, especially for the price spent. This is a value pistol purchase. Value pistol purchase. Look at the accuracy of the PT809. Freedom Munitions, opening up. That I've seen that load do that. This is Fiocchi. No, Fiocchi's right here. I forget this load. And this is an awful group, but I took blame for that. That's me. I wasn't great with that. Good group there. Gold Dot shooting well. American Eagle shooting very well. And this is all 115 jacketed hollow point. Great group there. This is 10 yards standing in the desert. So not in a range. So I'm working with wind, environmental conditions. This is a great group for 10 yards. I mean, that is almost an inch at 10 yards out of the PT809. Great group. Great group. One more to go. I did shoot a variety of loads. American Eagle 115. This is Freedom right here. Not too bad. Golden Saber is such a great round. It just shoots so tight. Right there, 124 grain. I think that might be a plus P load. Remington, American Eagle, Gold Dot. That accuracy is phenomenal, especially for the price. That tells me, again, it's got a good barrel. And it was fun to shoot. Recoil was controllable, even though it doesn't sit super low in the hand. I thought recoil impulse was great. I thought it was easy to get quick follow-up shots. Fast reset trigger. The double action I've talked about, it's not great. The sights worked for me. The hammer, no problems. Hammer drop and the controls. I just really warmed up to this pistol quick. It kind of reminded me of a polymer P226 kind of. Yeah, I know it's different, but just in the feel and how it shot, it felt like a polymer 226. So I was impressed, and I had some other crew shoot it, and they liked it as well. Even though they kind of scrunched their noses up. They're like, Taurus. I'm like, give it a shot. Open your mind. That's what we have to do that, and I think they came away impressed with it. By the way, this is a CRKT Ken Onion design shenanigan. First production. Super awesome knife. Love it. Os-8 steel. This is a Seiko Prospex solar-powered chronograph. Super excellent. And I'm going to keep this watch forever. At least that's what I'm saying now, subject to change. And here's the model number. SSC, what is that? 423 Papa 1. Not totally inexpensive. About $200 watch. Seikos are worth every penny, though. Pretty excellent. And then I'm still wearing that Value Timex Easy Reader. Love this watch with the cool Indiglow. So excellent. TMP patches right here. Would I buy the PT809? Absolutely. Yeah, without hesitation, I'd buy it for the cost. Now, it's discontinued, but you're going to be able to find this gun in a lot of places. I bet you if you go to your own gun store, you can find PT809s. Maybe even in the used gun counter. I bet you in the used gun counter, you could pick this gun up for 150 bucks. Yeah, I would totally buy it. It has a lifetime repair from Taurus. I know some of their warranty experiences have been subpar. Not my problem. I don't run the company. But maybe you'll have to work through it. I would buy it. Out of box at Gunnies, I'm not sure what he's selling this for, but I think around $250 or something. Don't quote me on that. I bet you Gunnies has more of the PT809s. Totally would buy it for the philosophies of use I talked about. Stash gun, truck gun, shop gun, backup gun in the cabin. Or would I trust this as a home defense gun? Yeah, I totally would. But here's what I would do is I would definitely take it out. I'd run probably 200 FMJ rounds through it, and then probably 100 JHP rounds of choice and just suck up the cost. That's what I would do. And then if it ran 100%, sign it off. Put it into service. It's got a pick rail for a laser light combination. It's got a good sight radius. I forgot to mention that. I'm going to throw it up against a Canik TP9 by way of representation, although the Canik dominates it in sight radius, so you can see it. And weight, the Canik's lighter still. But the Canik's not super light. It's, what is it, like 28 ounces? Only 2 ounces lighter than this. I raved about that. That's one of those guns I was talking about. That even though it's not super, super light, I still love it. I was making mention of that. Here it is against the PPQ. This is the one I was talking about that I wanted to show you on the table of PPQ, just for the heck of it. But you can see the grip, how high that grip is against the PPQ. See that, dudes? Yeah, buddy. Let me line up the slides even more so now it becomes more apparent. And then you can see the height of the PT809 slide. So there's the PPQ. This one's hot, by the way. It's coming out of a system, so I can't... I'm not pulling the trigger, of course. And then the 809. Again, it reminds me of a Sig P226, which does not sit super low in hand, but I absolutely love that gun. Other options, what would you consider? Nothing fancy. Well, I just showed you several. The TP9 would way be up there. Would I prefer it more? Yeah, I would. Walther Creed I just reviewed, and that shot really well. It is the ugly sister of the Walther family, but it's a value pistol. Probably, like I said in the review, not meant for gun people, but dang is it a good gun. Between these two guns, it's a draw. Maybe the Creed because it's a little bit lighter, but if you like the hammer drop and a DA to SA transition, more firepower, slightly, one more round, go PT809. Another gun I just showed you, the Steyr M9 series. Great gun. And these are just kind of hanging out from, bracketing reviews. And I think that's it that I have on table, but I'll mention a couple others. The Ruger American 9mm, I don't particularly like it. Ruger SR9, I do like that one. Diamondback DB9 full size, yes, I like that one. That one's very cool. And then the Walther CCP, that's a single stack. Yep, good. Beretta APX FN509. They're going to be more expensive, actually, probably a lot more expensive, depending on your viewpoint. By the way, this is not the first double stack Taurus I reviewed. Back in, God, it seems like forever ago, November 2008, I reviewed the PT809. Yeah, I actually reviewed that. And then this gun, the PT809, is based on the 24/7 OSS hammer-fired pistol. Yeah, I know I should have got to it earlier. I don't know if I mentioned this, 4.2-inch barrel. The slide itself is about 1.14 inches wide. So it's actually a little bit more narrow than a Glock, which is cool. And then it also has a loaded chamber indicator there that I forgot to mention as well. Now, the NRA National Riflemen did test their PT809, and they shot it probably a lot more than I did. And they said they had no malfunctions at all. So I'm going to give it pretty much a stellar track record from what I know. The accuracy, as you saw, was phenomenal. I think the price point for what you're going to get this, especially on the used market, totally worth it. It's a good gun. It's a good gun. The only dings I can really say are the weight and its high slide in the hand. And that's it. Nothing fancy. Thanks for watching. See ya.